Hi and welcome to today's video. Today answering a question from the comments section. Today's question is not a super simple one to answer. It is, are all modern fountain pen inks safe for fountain pen use? Yes and no. Fountain pen ink, as opposed to India ink or drawing ink or any of those sorts of inks, are better for your fountain pens. You should not use things like India ink or, as I said, drawing ink and things like that in your fountain pens. They will clog it up, they will wreck feeds, just don't do it. So get fountain pen ink, but the question is, are all fountain pen inks safe for use in fountain pens? Well, if you're using vintage pens, you want to be extra safe. You're dealing with things like latex sacks and those sorts of things that do require a little bit more maintenance. But for the most part, if you are using modern fountain pens like Lamies or TWSBIs or even more expensive pens like Viscontis or Montblanc, etc., if you are practicing proper, good, safe pen hygiene, you should be okay. But there are a couple of things to look out for. Firstly, I want to say straight up, there are a number of brands that the ink is super safe for fountain pen use. Waterman, Diamine, even very modern brands like Robert Oster tend to be very safe in your fountain pens. They're easy to clean, they don't sort of corrode or anything like that. They're safe, they don't clog up, you're pretty safe. Waterman is one of those inks that is safe across the board. If you're using vintage pens, Waterman is a great option. There are a number of modern brands though that do different things, and even say Robert Oster has his shake and shimmy inks, and Diamine have their shimmer inks. Inks with particles in it. These are inks that you're going to have to maintain your pens more consistently if you use them. Also, high sheening inks have a higher saturation, so they are things to look out for. But there are also brands like Noodlers and Private Reserve who tend to use ink that sits at a slightly, more aggressive pH level that will be detrimental to vintage pens, but also you just need to be extra careful with in some modern pens. But basically, if you maintain your pens, if you are aware of the purpose of the ink you are using. For instance, some of those Noodlers inks, they're designed with specific uses. So there are inks that are designed to be, UV resistant, bulletproof, all these sorts of things that are very much part of the inbuilt part of the ink for the purpose. And just having those in mind, Bay State Blue, for instance, if you put that into a less expensive, lower quality plastic pen, there is a chance that will stain. It can happen in more expensive pens with higher quality materials. So just be aware that if you stick to brands that you know and trust, or be familiar with the properties and qualities of a particular ink, you are less likely to run into trouble. But the big point here is make sure if you are writing with a fountain pen, and particularly if you're just starting out and getting to know these things, make sure the ink is designed for fountain pens. Please avoid your India inks and your sketching inks and drawing inks and all those sorts of things. They are going to have properties in them that are not fountain pen friendly, and you are just going to gummy up the system and clog the nib and destroy things. So stay safe with them. Proper pen hygiene, cleaning it regularly, maintaining the pistons, maintaining the converters, cleaning the feed properly. If you're using shimmer inks, really making sure you get rid of as much of the shimmer as possible. All of those sorts of things. You shouldn't run into too many troubles. Do the research, ask the questions, and just a couple of brands just to be aware of. Don't avoid those brands, just be aware of them when you're putting them in particular pens. So, I hope that answers your question. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe. If you've got questions, drop them in the comment here or on any of my videos, and I will try to cover them in one of these videos. In the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy your writing, and I'll talk to you soon.